আর নামাজকে আমরা গুরুত্ব সহকারে মনোযোগ সহকারে নামাজ ইবাদত করবো, এটা আল্লাহ তাআলা আমাদের
here today we see
মধ্যে নাই যে এটা প্রথম কিনা, কিন্তু আমাদের ভিতরে ভুল জায়গায় করে যে এটা আসলে
Allah.
We know that the cradle of Indian civilization was in the Ganges Basin, and part of the Ganges Basin is in Bangladesh. We know from the archaeology of sites like Baribatishwar, the material that is being excavated there shows it to be part of that 3,000, 4,000-year-old civilization. And that civilization brought traders here from very early times. A kingdom formed around the Ganges Delta called Gangaridai, and Roman writers write about the merchants who traveled even to the Ganges. And here they traded in silk, in gemstones, in musk, and in herbs and spices. So we know that this was a great center of international trade for over 2,500 years. At Baribatishwar they have found coins which have been carbon dated to 600 BCE. So that's over 2,500 years old. The earliest known coins in the world. This great center of trade was a route through to China through the Brahmaputra. It was a route into India along the Ganges. But the Ganges Delta was the center of that. And around the Ganges Delta are the great ancient cities, Barishal, Vikrampur, Baribatishwar, Igor-Sinjur, and a little further up you have Mahastangor. And near here, of course, you have Vitagor on the Tista, which is the largest known walled city and center of trade in North India. So these were very rich lands with a great trade. And it defies probability that Arab traders weren't coming here well before the time of the Holy Prophet. That makes it virtually certain that during the lifetime of the Holy Prophet, Arab traders who were converts came here. And this location, close as it is to the junction of the Tista and the Brahmaputra, to the great trade routes into Central Asia, is a very logical site for the Muslim community amongst those traders to build a mosque. So when I heard that there was a mosque with a dating tablet suggesting that it was built in the 7th century, in that sense I wasn't surprised. But when I came here and saw the foundations that had been exposed here, as someone with a background in archaeology, I can see walls that are clearly built of bricks from the middle of the first millennium, and the layout of those walls looks very good to me. But to support that, you need carbon dating. But you need to excavate fully what is here, because you haven't excavated right the way down yet. I suspect there may be very much more depth there. But the material you have suggests that this is a viable site for a mosque. And if it's right with the dating tablet, it would be the earliest that there is archaeological evidence for in South Asia. And the mosque claimed in Kerala has no archaeological evidence for it ahead of the Middle Ages. And the mosque that is claimed in China has no archaeological evidence. Now we know Islam reached China during the lifetime of the Holy Prophet, because the Holy Prophet famously suggested, seek ye knowledge even unto China. And of course, as Dr. Mahathir, the famous Prime Minister of Malaysia, said, he wasn't talking about Islamic knowledge, he was talking about knowledge. But he knew that Arabs and his converts were trading with China. It has always been supposed that trade was carried out up the Indus and through Central Asia. But it makes far more sense for them to have come round India, maybe landed in Kerala on their way, certainly come to the Ganges Delta, and come up the Brahmaputra, all the way up to the north of Assam, up the old Ledo Road into Yunnan province, where we know there was a very strong Islamic community, certainly in the 14th century, because the Muslim admiral who led the Chinese fleet that came to Shonaga in the 14th century was a Muslim, and he came from Yunnan province. So all of it makes sense in a context quite beyond whatever the archaeology here says. There was trade, Arabs were trading, Islam was in China from a very early time, and this looks to be the most probable route that it would have traveled to China. So all of that circumstantial evidence suggests this is probably the oldest mosque in South Asia.
Thank you.